I really hope I'm in focus, yeah. Am I in the frame? Am I sweating? It's hot. I've been video editing for years and I love it. As a kid, I tried to edit silly sketches on tape with my family's camcorder.
Peter is going to do karate. Just stop that part.
Then as a teen, I migrated to my mom's purple iMac when I noticed a little program called iMovie. iMovie was a total game changer for me, and using that program, I made many, many embarrassing videos. In my mid-20s, after a few career attempts, I decided to get serious about making videos, so I enrolled in a class to learn Premiere Pro, and I loved it. It's the program that basically started my video career in Premiere Pro. I've probably edited over 500 projects, maybe even 1,000. But recently, I've been considering switching to another program, and that program is DaVinci Resolve. It's been there the whole time, yeah. I'm not pointing at the computer, that's good. DaVinci Resolve is a post-production suite primarily known for its advanced color grading capabilities. And over the last decade, it has become the standard for professional colorists in Hollywood and beyond. Within the program, it has a non-linear editing suite with audio, visual effects, motion graphics, few people I know have actually switched over, and they love it. And after some research, I get it. The incredibly obvious reason is price. Adobe has a subscription model, which means that if you want the entire Creative Cloud suite with After Effects, Premiere, Illustrator, Photoshop, all of that stuff, it's $54.99 a month. Forever and ever, forever. DaVinci, on the other hand, is free. It's free. If you do need the more advanced version, it's $300, but that's it. It's a one-time payment, you own it. So if you compare $660 a year for Adobe and free, it's free, or $300 for life. It's so blaringly obvious which one's the better value. Beyond that, in the past few years, I've found that Adobe is so ambitious with their upgrades that it is constantly fighting my computer to either render video or to play back things in decent speeds. Every time I update my computer, Adobe's mad, and every time I update Adobe, my computer's mad. It just keeps going back and forth. A lot of creators are having a great time with DaVinci. It runs super well and it has a robust set of features. So it looks like the exodus from Premiere Pro is inevitable. Oh, my old love, Premiere. Our light is fading. But in an effort to understand this for myself, I'm gonna learn DaVinci Resolve. Yeah. All right, here we are, ready to download. So all you have to do is go to blackmagicdesign.com, products-DaVinci Resolve, and you scroll down here and you can download it immediately. So yeah, click one of these links, whichever one works for you. If you want a stable build, you can use DaVinci Resolve 18. If you want the public beta, this is where they're trying out a lot of new features. You can download this too. This is the free one over on the left, and on the right, we have the Resolve Studio, which is $300. So we're just going to deal with the free one today. So let's get into the program. Looks like this. Excellent. All right, here we are on the opening screen. Let's create a new project. Yeah, I like to start with the day with everything, and then we'll just call this DaVinci Resolve Test. And now let's create the project. All right, welcome to the interface. It's very exciting. So they have this organized really well. So let me just show you. We'll start on the bottom here. So you can see there's a bunch of different words with icons on them. These are all different workspaces for the specific modes. The idea is that you have pretty much everything you need to get raw assets, video files, music, graphics, and turn them into a final product. Starting from the media panel here, you'll see that we can import all of our media into what's called the media pool. From there, we can go into cut and we can cut that media down. Then we can start our edit. This is where we're going to spend a lot of our time today, is in the edit workspace. Once you're done with the edit, you can go into Fusion. This is where all of the visual effects are done. And then from there, you can go to color, which is a specialty of DaVinci. We're not going to get into it today, but know that this workspace is where you work on the color of your piece. And then Fairlight, this next one, you work on the audio. And finally, we go to Deliver, and this is where you take your edit and turn it into a finalized watchable video file. Pretty cool. All right, let's get back into media and let's import some stuff. I'm going to go File, Import, Media. Excellent. All right, so we have a pop-up window. I made a folder with a bunch of footage that I found from pixabay.com. It is a free stock site. People just upload things and you can just grab them. Not sponsored by them or anything. I just use them from looking for interesting stock footage or music. So we've got some music and some stock footage. And yeah, I'm just going to import all of that. Excellent. All right, so you can see all of the files now exist here in my media pool. So you'll see that right here we have a viewer. So if I were to scroll over any of this, you'll see that when I scrub over it, you can see it in the source viewer. You can see we got flowers, we have fog over the valley. If I were to double click on this, I could press play and I can watch in this viewer. And you'll see that the audio is showing up here, but we'll stop. Now let's check out the lions. Let's play this. Very cool. You can use this cut workspace, but I actually prefer to jump right into edit. You can do all similar features and with a little more advanced stuff in the edit page. So I usually go from media straight to edit. Let's take a look at this. We have our media pool here. You'll see that all of this stuff still exists. It's right up there. And below we have our effects, but there is a chance that you may not be able to see either of these. So there's buttons up here. If I click effects, disappears. If I click media pool, also disappears. So if you're looking for a window, click on these buttons that are up at the top. So here's the media pool again. Here's the effects. Again, if I wanted to pull up the index, we could. I do not want to do that right now. Looks like they have a free sound library. I haven't played around with it, but I'm going to click this off. We'll just have the media pool for now. Let's take a look at what we have here. So I'm going to double click and you'll see that the flowers show up. Very exciting. Great. Lions. Excellent. And we can listen to the music. So if you wanted, you can move what's called the playhead to the front, and we're going to press play. Great, very cool. So it looks like everything's working. So I'm going to start my edit by dragging a clip right into this thing, which is called the timeline. So let's check it out. Let's just take a flower. And you'll see that when I drag it in, it populates with these two layers. We have a video layer and an audio layer. Video layer is called V1. The audio layer is called A1. In this viewer, we can actually get two viewers, one that we just visually see the raw footage and one that we visually see what we're editing. Right now, it's sharing both of them because I have what is called the inspector open. The inspector is a way that you can change attributes of clips. You can mess with animations. You can change the scale. You can change the position. All sorts of things. We'll get into that. But for now, I'm just going to click this inspector button. So now we have a source viewer. So this is how we can view our raw footage. And then we have our program viewer, which is how we can view what we're editing. That's kind of helpful, I find. Let's take a look at what we've got here. So we can see in the video 1 layer, we have a 37-second clip, nothing on the audio 1 layer. So video 1, this is where you place videos. Audio 1, this is where you place audio. Okay, we drag the whole clip in, which is something we can do. And while you're here, you can trim the clip in this mode. So what I mean by that is if you go to the right or the left of the clip and this little icon replaces your mouse, click and drag, and you can change the size of the clip. So cool. All right. So now if I were to press play, the clip is only a few seconds long, which is great. I think I'm going to want to put music down. So let's listen to this music. I'm going to double click on this clip and go back to the beginning. Great. Okay, so that's called Eco Technology, and let's see what relaxing's like. Oh yeah, that's what I want. Okay, I'm gonna now drag relaxing onto the audio layer. So boom, it populates. And now if we were to play this clip, play the edit. Okay, cool. Well, I already want to change my edit because once you put in music, things start to feel a little different. So I'm going to drag the flower further out. And now I have more of that clip back. So just remember that when you trim something, it still exists. This is digital, so you can recall it by just dragging it back out. So keep on dragging. Excellent. All right, I want to put another clip in. Let's put these. Let's put this beautiful ocean drone shot in. Drag the. Wow. Okay, that's the whole clip. Very exciting. So let's see how this looks. Let's just watch the two clips. I actually see that the sound wave is getting big here again, so I'm going to just drag this ocean drone shot right where that happens again. So you can use your own discretion, but this is just what I'm feeling right now. And we'll add some transitions to help massage this, but let's just look at that transition. And you'll see that I just put the ocean drone shot on top of the flower footage and everything beneath it disappeared. So just keep that in mind. When you move something like this, it will disappear. But you always have one of the most important hotkeys, which is Command Z. That's your undo. So you'll be pressing that a lot as a video editor. So I see again in the sound wave, it goes back up. I'm guessing I'm going to want to switch footage there. So let's get some lions. I could take the whole clip down. That's a lot of clip, and trim it down like we have been. But what I want to do is actually just highlight a portion of this clip and then bring it into the timeline. So it's a little more manageable. So what I'm going to do is use what's called in and out points. So in order to create that, you double click on your clip so you can see in the source viewer. And you scrub around, you look for the part that you want to start at. Yes, okay, I like when that lion's head turns, so I'm going to go right before that. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to create an in point, so that's where I want this sub clip, this mini clip to start. In order to do that, you can press the I button, or you can click right here. This is mark in. So, okay, great. Let's see where we want to mark out. So this is where the second button is. I'm going to let it play. Let's watch for a second. Okay, that's looking, love it. All right, so I'm going to press O to mark out, or you can click on this mark out button. Great, and you'll see that highlighted, there's just this small portion of the clip. Now when I drag it in, you'll see that it's just a smaller clip now. So that's another way to add a clip into your timeline. And that way you're not taking a full clip. So you'll see if I go back to this fog over the valley, I'll double click on this. That's a really long clip. I don't want that. So I'm going to do, once again, the in and out points. So let's just watch the clip, look for something visually interesting. There's a lot going on. Excellent. Okay. I think that's cool. So I'm just going to create an out point. So all I did was press O, or you can click on this mark out, and it'll just highlight everything to the front if you haven't already created an endpoint before. I'm going to click and drag and plop this down. Excellent. Okay, cool. Let's just watch back what we have. I think I want a little more lions. There's this point where the piano hits a low note that I thought was really powerful. So I wonder if I can create a cut around that. Right there. I can see it in the wave. So I think I might want to create the line cut right there. Let's take a look. Beautiful. Ah, so relaxing. Ooh. Excellent. Okay, great job, everyone. We now know how to bring video and audio onto our timeline. We now know how to trim it by using the edges. You can see this tool. One thing you can do is, I don't know the official name of this tool, but it's kind of like a nudge. You'll see if there are these two arrows. If I click and drag, you'll see that the flower clip is getting longer while the ocean drone shot is getting shorter. So you can kind of nudge your footage back and forth, which is very cool. So you can trim. We can create a subclip by using in and out points. So again, if we were to double click on this and let's find what we like, we can press I here and let's let it play a little bit. Hit O and you'll see we have that subclip. Now when I drag it in, we've got this smaller clip. That's great. Great job, everyone. Wow. Wow, now those are some good movies. Hey, it's me, Peter, again, just interrupting my own video. I wanted to tell you about some useful hotkeys. Now, hotkeys are just keyboard shortcuts to make your editing that much easier. To start, let's talk about 2 modes that are important. If you press A, you'll be in selection mode. This is the default mode you use to move clips around the timeline, to trim, to do all that kind of stuff. So that's selection mode. That's what you want to be on for the most part. If you press B, you'll be in blade mode. So blade mode, it turns your mouse into a razor and you can cut a bunch of different cuts into your clip. So that's super convenient. So A, selection mode, B is blade mode. Next up are some playback control hotkeys. So if you want to watch your clips, you can use J, K, or L. J will be rewind, K is pause, and L is fast forward. And you can press these multiple times to go faster. So if you want to go really fast, you can press L, 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 L. It'll speed through your clip, which is very cool. Once again, those are J, K, and L. Hopefully those were helpful. Anyways, back to more of me talking. It's a lot. So let's talk about transitions. That's some basic stuff. I really like the way this is going, but I kind of want things to melt into each other a little more. Let's go to what's called effects. So I'm going to click on effects. I don't really need to see media pool, so this will give a little more space for the effects panel. Let's go to video transitions. And what's very cool is that you see a preview here for these transitions. So blur dissolve, that looks kind of cool. A cross dissolve. So the cross dissolve is kind of a classic fade in, fade out dissolve. So I kind of want to add one right here. And so you'll see that there's this gray box that just presented itself. So when you go between a clip, you'll see that this gray box kind of exists. And that's if there's overlapping footage, you can use a transition. So you'll see that for flowers, there's overlapping here. And so now I have this box here and I can nice fade in, beautiful. Great, well, I'm gonna add one more cross dissolve here. So you'll see there's overlapping footage, the box exists. Now if I go to the edge of this box, I can actually make it long or short. I can change the size of it as long as there's overlapping footage again. Wow, a nice mind-melting cross dissolve, but let's do something a little more complicated because why not? Generally, when you're getting started, if you want to be a professional editor, I probably wouldn't recommend using a spiral wipe. It's kind of a silly thing, but we're just exploring our creativity. So let's take a look. Let's see how that works. That's pretty funny. I'm gonna make it longer. Let's see that spiral go. Pretty goofy. All right, let's see if we can finesse this. So anytime you have something highlighted, you can mess with attributes of it using what's called the inspector. So I'm going to go click on this. This is the inspector. So if I had a clip highlighted, you'll see that if I go into the video area, you can affect the size, you can affect the rotation, you know, all of this stuff. But for now, I'm going to just be working on the transition. So the spiral wipe. So you can actually choose the duration. If I want it to be longer, maybe I'll make this go longer. And you can add a border. Wow, that is wild. This border's huge. I think I like it like that. You can change the color of your border, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to click feather. You see there's kind of this fade that's in there. You know, there's just all these options that it's really worth playing around with as you get more and more comfortable with this stuff. You can spend a lot of time in here or no time in here. I'm going to add also what's called an ease, so it makes it so that the motion isn't linear. It's more cushioned on both sides. If you're confused by anything I say, don't worry about it. This is just me having a little bit of fun. So let's watch how this works. Ooh. Oh, I like that. So I'm actually going to see, maybe I'll move it a little bit. And let's, so I kind of want when it hits that bass note for it then to be more apparent that it's transitioning. I could, yeah, even stand for a little more this way. All right, let's try it out. It's like, what is happening? And it's kind of, I don't know. Having fun. All right, let's put another transition. We're gonna put a Venetian blind wipe. I don't know. Fusion transition. So Fusion, again, that's this advanced FX editor. So there are these Fusion transitions. I'm not sure that we have access to them in the free version, but let's try a camera shake. We'll see if this works. This is a pretty old computer, but let's give it a try. Totally not in the mood of the piece, but you know, okay, let's go back on you. Let's mess with this a little bit. So I'm back in Inspector here. Let's make sure you have that open, and you can mess with the shake speed or the strength, add motion blur. I'm going to add motion blur, which makes it just look a little more like the camera's really doing it. Yeah, my computer can't process this. This is an old one, but all right. So those are some basic transitions. One more that's really helpful. That's just built right in. If you click on one of the clips, you'll see that there are these two cylindrical gray things, and if you drag one of them over, it will fade in from black or out to black, depending on if you're on the left, it'll fade in from black. So nice fade in, which is great. And this also works for audio. If you drag this over, you can have the audio fade in too. It's very helpful. I'm going to add a fade out at the end. And then I think I'm going to cut this audio off so it doesn't go haywire here. So went to blade mode by pressing B, back to selection mode. And now I'm going to select this part on the right, this part of the track on the right, and delete it. And now I'm going to have both of these fade out. So we can just see. Oh, yeah. Okay, what's really cool is you can actually change the scale of the timeline. So if you want to do intricate editing, you can use this bar right here. You can zoom in. And let's see, if you wanted to do more intricate stuff, or if you wanted to zoom out to be able to see your whole timeline, you can do that through those means. Also, you can use Command minus, Command plus if you're using a Mac. Okay, great. So we've gone through how to bring clips in, how to trim them. We've gone through how to create subclips. We've gone through how to put audio tracks on. Let's mess with titles, and then we'll wrap up pretty soon. Again, I'm going into the effects window, and I'm going to go titles. And they've made this really simple. So I want to create a title here. So they have a basic title. All you have to do is click and drag a layer on top of your video. So boom. So you'll see that when I drag this in, I created a second layer. If I wanted to, I could create a third layer. You can have as many layers as you want, and whatever's on top is what you see. So if I had a clip actually above this title, so if I were to just drag this, I'm going to undo it, but if I were to drag this above it, you'll see I can't see the title. So you want it to be beneath the title. So here we are. So, all right, basic title. So cool. All right, let's affect this title. So we're going to be in the inspector here. You click on the layer, basic title. This one's called Peter's in a Mood. You can affect the font just as you would expect. Let's try to find a moody font. Maybe it's moodier to have a lowercase Peter. Peter's in a mood. That's pouty. I like this. All right, cool. So we can change the font face. You can change the color. So this white looks pretty good. I'm gonna green. Let's see. Well, I think this is nice. I'm not a master at colors, but I like it. So you can change the size, tracking, so you can space between the words. If you have multiple lines, you can mess with that. But just know that this little circle arrow thing, if you click it, it'll reset it back to the original settings. So if I mess up the tracking a lot, I can click on this, and that works across the program. It's very helpful. So there's a lot of other stuff you can do. You can mess with the rotation, all sorts of things. You can add a stroke, so it's a line on the outside. I don't love the way that looks, so I'm not going to. But what I am going to do is I'm going to mess with the drop shadow. You can see there's a little bit of shadow. I'm messing with the X and Y axis right now of the drop shadow. It's kind of moody. And then I'm going to add a little more blur so it doesn't feel as sourcey, if that makes any sense. I think that looks pretty good. So let's take a look. All right, and I'm gonna have this fade out, so you can treat this like any other video layer. You can add a cross dissolve, you can pull this so it fades out. I'm gonna do that, so we'll let it melt away. So let's see how that looks. I think that's pretty cool. All right, so let's do a slightly more advanced title, and then we'll call it. I think this is a good first session. All right, so they have these more advanced titles, the fusion titles. So let's just take a look at these. Center reveal. All right, I like this, clean and simple. So I'm going to add this here. Let's take a look at how that works. Okay, so we'll go back into our inspector. And we can change. So you can see it's a small text. They made this really easy. Now, and you'll see that we've got this big text. So he's feeling better. The power of editing has cheered me up. So again, you can mess with the font if you want. I think they did a great job, so I'm not going to add these funny boxes that it's having trouble interpreting. But yeah, so there's an automatic animation on this. So let's see. I didn't like the timing of that. Maybe we'll have it go like this. Okay, well, it's getting covered up a little bit by the flower. I kind of like the idea of it being in this negative space. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the inspector just in another way. I'm going to go to the video. I'm going to go to settings. So we were on title. We're going to go to settings. And now I'm going to use the transform area where you can do a lot of stuff. You can change the position, which is what I'm going to do. There we go. You can change the scale of it using zoom. Again, if you mess up, you can do that. You can rotate it. I don't want to do that. But you can also do 3D stuff like the pitch and the yaw, which those are fun to say. Pitch and yaw. How about this? We'll do a slight yaw. All right, let's see how that works. All right, but I do need to make this shorter because it fades out. And then I'll add a fade out for it. So excellent. Okay, well, I think that's what we're going to do today. Pretty simple. We talked about text. We talked about transitions. We talked about using these bars to add fade in and fade out for clips. We talked about sub clips. We talked about dragging in full clips. We talked barely about audio, but I'll just tell you one thing that we can do right now in this first session with audio. We can affect the overall volume if you just make the track a little bigger. You can click and drag up or down to determine the wave size. So if it's too loud, you can make it softer. And you can make it louder. Very cool. All right, so we've done the media stuff. We've done the edit stuff. Let's deliver this video. We've got titles. This should be enough to get you through some of your first edits, but it'll get you curious about other stuff. Definitely get to know the inspector, how to work with this stuff. Start to investigate other things. Definitely watch other tutorials. I mean, part of the learning process is to have many teachers. So this is just kind of a crash course, a simple, quick thing. And I'm by no means an expert. I'm just brand new to this and trying to apply my knowledge as quickly as I can. Again, we're going to skip the fusion. This is where you can do some pretty advanced visual effects. And we're going to skip color, where you can really mess with color. I mean, this is that people make their whole career off of just visual effects or just being a colorist. It's really that much of an art, but it is very helpful to get to know those things. And of course, people make their career out of just being an audio person. You can see we have all these audio mixing options here, but again, for now, we're just keeping with the basics. And we're going to deliver this video. I'm very happy with how this went. So we're in the Deliver tab. And what you want to do is make sure that you're rendering your entire timeline. Or if you just want a portion of the timeline, you did some weird stuff over here, you can create an in and out range. You can choose what you want your final video to be. But for me, entire timeline works great. So there's a lot of options. The simple one, if you're just uploading this to the internet, H.264 master. This is a great preset. It's designed for compressed video for viewing over the internet. They have a lot of custom ones. You can do ones that are directly for YouTube or Vimeo. This is probably a good place to start if you're a new editor. But yeah, so we'll just do a simple one. We'll do the YouTube 1080p. And let's date it. I'm going to call it 6.21.23. Peter's in a mood. Now I'm going to browse location. I want it to be on DaVinci Test. And then, all of this stuff should be good to go. If you know more, you can definitely mess with this, but if you're just starting out, just leave it be. It should be good. So now we're going to click Add to Render Queue. And we're going to render all. And you can see it is doing the work right now. Boom. That's very exciting. All right, and then just find the location you chose, and now let's hop to it. That camera shake is wild. It's a great video. I'm very proud of myself. I've only just begun with Resolve, but so far I'm loving it. I'm gonna keep pushing it to see if it can replace everything that the Creative Cloud can do, but it's looking really good. At this point, if you're just getting into editing, I'd recommend DaVinci over Premiere hands down. You can learn all the basics of editing and grow into it without spending $1. To me, it's kind of a no-brainer, but you make your own decision. Totally fair. All right, well that's what I got today. Hope it was helpful. I'll see you in the next video, and here's some more of that embarrassing footage from the beginning. Gotta start somewhere.